Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, Gwede Mantashe, is briefing the media following a sit-in of over 400 workers at the Gold One mines operation in Springs, just east of Johannesburg, have not yet returned to the surface. Let's go take you live there.
Now to 4, 3, 2.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you very much. Now we're in Gold One for the second day today. We came here to deal with an issue of a sit-in where 409 workers are still underground. We wanted to resolve that because we wanted to get the demands and all that. But that has changed from a sit-in to a hostage drama today. Because people are held underground by force, and a few people come out assaulted badly. Then that changes from a sit-in to a hostage drama. And what was actually interesting is that a message in writing has been sent from underground, which is purporting to be from AMCO, which put a number of demands. If they are not answered within 2 hours, they will kill a shift force underground. And because that is now a criminal offense, we've handed it over to the police and say, police, deal with this issue. It's no longer a sit-in, it's a hostage drama. That is what we're dealing with here. And we're hoping that it can be resolved, the sooner the better.
And then, Minister, in terms of, now that you mentioned it's day 2, is there a way forward in terms of helping the miners to resurface? Because I'm sure they're feeling tired, they don't know what day, their families are standing outside, and they want a speedy resolution. Is there a way in moving towards that resolution? That's
why we are explaining that it's no longer a sit-in, it's a hostage. They are held against their will underground. When they come out, that will have to be validated, listened, and be taken out. They should come out of the underground because it is not helpful to keep workers underground. Others are sick, others have chronic diseases and chronic conditions, and they should not be underground. They should be out of the underground. And we're dealing with that issue very seriously. We take it very, very serious.
I'm sure, Minister, one of the questions that the miners or even the viewers at home would want to know is that this is the second situation that Gold One is facing that's similar to this. In the first incident, you were, what would I say, you were not present, or we didn't hear that the department reaching out and coming out. Why is that?
It's because if it's an IR situation, we allow management to settle the issue. But when it comes to the second time, it's no longer an IR situation. It requires departmental intervention. That's why we're here and wanting to understand. And one of the issues is in the first sitting, there was an issue about a closed-up agreement. And they have agreed now, both unions have agreed that they will do away with the closed-up agreement so that there's freedom of association. But there is another sit-in now that demand things that we do not know, because we've been asking for demands. Workers outside say, we're waiting for our leaders from AMCO. When we talk to AMCO, they say, no, we don't know anything about that strike. Now, having experience of working with AMCO, they can let those workers sit underground for 2 months. They have held strikes that go for 5 months and all those times. But the reality of the matter is that it should be resolved on the mine, management, AMCO, the NUM. And if they can't sit together, we called in the CCMA to facilitate. They couldn't facilitate because the other party, which was key to this issue, AMCO, was invisible.
Minister, we also understand that yesterday there was a meeting between you and management. Can you just tell us as to what were the happenings in those meetings?
We had a meeting with the management and the NUM. And after that meeting, I had a telephone discussion with the president of AMCU. And there's only one issue that we're talking about, is that those workers must be out of underground and parties must engage and find a solution. That was the essence.
And Minister, we understand that one of the reasons as to what transpired to this whole city is because the workers want AMCU to be recognized as and you were talking about the end of a closed shop agreement. So does that mean that AMCU will now be part of the union to represent?
I don't know if you have ever been a member of a union. Let me explain how unions work. When you are a union, you recruit members and you'll have forms. You submit them to management, verified, and if your numbers are above a number that is agreed, you get recognized. You can't sit underground and demand recognition, whether you have members or not. You must have members, then you'll have recognition. All unions work that way. It's not an issue that you go strike for without submitting the forms and the numbers verified. Then you get recognition. The first thing you get, which we insist as well, we said, this thing, a closed shop agreement, is actually abused in the industry broadly everywhere we go. You find a mine where you said it has a closed shop agreement with AMCU, it has a closed shop agreement with NUM, and that thing limits the right of workers to choose union that they want to choose. And I don't think it is used properly. We'll revisit that, we'll talk to the Minister of Labour to revisit this thing of closed shop agreement that are unwarranted. Workers must have the freedom to join unions of their choice.
Minister, we also understand that, like you said, there are certain procedures that one has to follow in order for a union to be recognized. Do you not think that maybe there is a hindrance or there's some sort of foul play that's been happening? Because I don't think miners would want to go and sit underground for 72 hours if there was a procedure that was as simple as that.
Workers had a sit-in before. One of the issues they raised was that there was a closed-shop agreement. The NUM, which is a closed-shop agreement, has voluntarily said, we're doing away with this closed-shop agreement, we will be able to engage everybody. And that, the window of that agreement is the 14th of December, which is a few days. And therefore, to call another sit-in to put pressure is actually going to create complications to a situation that is very simple. Workers in the mine must have a choice. They must not be beaten up to join a particular union. They must not be held hostage underground to join a particular union. They must join a union they want out of their free will, and that is union organization and union committee.
So, Minister, in other words, are you saying that AMCU is trying to galvanize these members by force, or they're coercing them to join for a particular narrative that they want to push?
I can't be a spokesman for AMCU, but the letter that we received from underground is actually written in the name of AMCU. And AMCU leadership will have to come up and say, no, that is not our message. And that message says, you will respond in 2 hours, otherwise so-and-so Peter is going to die, John is going to die. And we can't work that way and say that is organization, that is criminal.
Is there any word that you may want to relay to maybe the families or the miners who are protesting in solidarity of their fellow members in trying to get a speedy resolution? Because I think now what they want is for them to go above ground. Because
if they have trust in AMCU, AMCU cannot run away when everybody is looking for them. They must come to the fore and represent the interest of those workers who claim to be having trust on them. Now, for those workers who are in the taxi rank to say, we can't talk to the CCMA, we can't talk to anybody, we're expecting AMCU to come, and the AMCU is nowhere to be found. It is actually dereliction of duty on the part of a union. That workers say, we want to join this union, the union runs away. They must come to the fore and represent the interests of the workers.
And then lastly, Minister, we know that 52 workers here were dismissed because of their initial participation in the first strike, and others were suspended. Does that still hold, or has there been any progress in that regard?
Can I tell you, you work for SABC.
Yes.
The SABC will always subject you to a process. And if you are not happy with the outcome, I'm sure the SABC will have an appeal system. That's what is followed. You don't just hold people underground and say they must all be reinstated. It can't work that way. Because if you do that, it will be the survival of the fittest and the destruction of the unfit. And there will be no industry left.
And then lastly, Minister, we know that AMCU said it's distancing itself from this protest action. What is the NUM then saying?
The NUM is here. It has been available all the time. We have talked to the AMCU by phone. And there is a letter that is written in its name. It can distance itself, but those people say, on behalf of AMCU, was submitting that you will have to respond to this. And therefore, AMCU must be visible and be physical and engaged on behalf of those workers. If AMCU is not presenting itself and people say, we want AMCU, then I don't know what to do. What would you do? I'm asking you now.
I would join the party that I would want.
Yes, you'll join a party that you want, but it must be here and raise your issues. If it is running away and not raising your issues are not going to be raised.
But Minister, one of the things that the miners also said is that the NUM is not coming to the party when it comes to the grievances that they have. Hence, they are now choosing a better alternative, if I can say.
That is a relationship between a union and its members. I can't enter that space. And that's why I'm saying I'm one of the few people who hate a closed-up agreement, because many years ago when I was a trade unionist, there was a closed-up agreement for white unions against us. I know how it deprives the right to join a union of your choice. And I think that is an issue that will have to be debated in the sector as a whole. That this thing of closed-up agreement, to use it to deprive workers' choice of where they want to belong, must come to a stop. People must join the union of their choice. If they don't have confidence in the NUM, it is their union, they have a right to do so. If they want to join another union, it's their choice, they have a right to do so. But you don't express that by holding people against their will underground.
So now that, Minister, you say it's a hostage situation, do you have any negotiators? Are there any parties? What's the strategy?
When people begin to come out beaten up thoroughly and they go to medical station, it ceases to be an industrial relation issue, it becomes a criminal issue. And therefore, when that happens, you hand that to the police.
So you are saying basically opening a criminal case?
You say, I am not opening a criminal case, it is a criminal case. And police say, here is this miner, he is in the medical station, he has been beaten thoroughly. It's evidence, they are there, they can see it. And they say, therefore, it's not a sit-in, it's a hostage. Then a second worker comes out beaten thoroughly. That is hostage. That is not a sit-in.
But now, Minister, there are over 400 that are there.
Yes.
So are you saying that in totality, it's now a hostage situation?
Yes, hostage. 409 people are held hostage underground, yes.
Oh.
Yes.
No, thank you very much, Minister.
Okay. Thank you.